Welcome to The Grounded Leader, Ayurvedic wellness for leaders who want to succeed from a place of balance. A podcast where ancient practices meet ambitious goals to help you operate with strength, clarity, and grounded intention. I'm your host, Sweta, an Ayurvedic doctor, trauma informed yoga teacher, award winning author, mindfulness coach, corporate wellness speaker, adjunct professor, and a lifelong student of what it really means to lead with clarity, purpose, and peace. Each week, we'll explore holistic wellness, how to excel in authentic leadership, and live with balance and purpose. Let's dive in. Today's episode touches on something most leadership books don't talk about, something that doesn't fit neatly into a KPI or a quarterly goal. It's about grief, especially grief in the corner office. Because here's the truth, even in high performing spaces, even in boardrooms filled with strategy decks and confidence, grief shows up. It shows up quietly, in the pause before an email reply, in the sigh between meetings, in that moment you forget what you were saying mid presentation. When we think of leaders, we often think of composure, poise, reliability. We are told that leadership means holding it together, that our emotions should be managed, packaged, and tucked away even before we enter the office. But grief doesn't follow HR policy. It doesn't wait until you're off the clock. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, a health crisis, the end of a relationship, or even the collapse of a dream, grief makes its way into our daily rhythm. And if you're a leader, you might feel that you don't have permission to fall apart. I remember talking to a senior executive who said, "My team is counting on me, Sweta. I can't afford to break down." But what I heard beneath those words was exhaustion. A person doing the impossible, holding pain and responsibility at the same time. Here is the truth. You can grieve and lead. The two are not opposites. They are both acts of courage. Ayurveda teaches us that everything we experience, joy, sadness, hope, or grief, has a physiological and energetic imprint. When we suppress grief, it doesn't disappear. It simply finds a new home in the body. For some, that shows up as sleepless nights. For others, it's irritability or chronic fatigue. Grief, like every emotion, has a doshic expression. Let's start with Vata, the Vata dosha, the energy of air and space. When Vata dominates grief, we feel anxious, restless, ungrounded. Our thoughts race, our digestion suffers, and sleep becomes elusive. If you recognize yourself here, your healing begins with stillness, warm soups, oil massage, early bedtimes, and the courage to slow down. Then there is Pitta grief, the fire and water elements. This looks like frustration, anger overflowing, and overworking as a distraction. Pitta leaders often cope by controlling everything around them because control feels safer than vulnerability. For Pitta, healing lies in cooling, both physically and emotionally. Take breaks, step away from the screen, sip water, eat foods that soothe rather than stimulate. Practice forgiveness, especially towards yourself. And then we have Kapha grief, the earth and water elements of Kapha dosha. Here we see heaviness, withdrawal, or even numbness. Kapha wants to curl up, shut the world out, and linger in the past. If this resonates, movement becomes medicine. Go for a walk, open the curtains, invite light back into your day. No one dosha is better or worse. They're simply mirrors showing us how our system processes loss. There's an unspoken myth in leadership that vulnerability undermines authority. But what if the opposite is true? I've seen leaders who, after experiencing grief, became gentler, more intuitive, more connected to their teams. They learned that strength isn't about being unbreakable, it's about staying open while breaking. Think about the leader who acknowledges the humanity in a meeting and says, "Today's been hard. I'm doing my best." That moment of honesty, it doesn't erode trust, it builds it. Many of us can't simply pause our responsibilities when loss strikes. The meetings still happen, the emails still arrive, the world keeps spinning. So we learn to grieve in motion. That might look like taking 5 quiet breaths before a call, writing a note of gratitude to someone who's helping you hold it together, giving yourself permission to step away midway to cry, breathe, or walk. You don't have to compartmentalize your pain, you can integrate it. And integration doesn't mean you've moved on. It means you're learning to move with, to carry what you've lost with grace and awareness. Because when you allow your humanity to surface, you give permission for others to do the same. You remind your team that the workplace isn't separate from life, it's a part of it. Grief humbles us, it clears away pretense, it reminds us what truly matters in leadership isn't how perfectly we perform, but how compassionately we show up. So, if you're listening and leading through grief right now, I want to share a few small practices that can help you stay grounded. 1. Ritualize your healing. That means light a candle in the morning or evening to honor what or who you've lost. Rituals remind the nervous system that it's safe to feel. 2. Reclaim your rest. Grief is not just emotional, it's physical. Fatigue, brain fog, digestive changes, changes to your sleep cycle, they're all part of the process. Rest is not indulgence, it's integration. 3. Nourish your body. Warm, simple meals, ginger tea, foods that feel comforting, not punishing. When the heart is heavy, let the stomach be soothed. 4. Move, but gently. Walks in nature, restorative yoga, even 5 minutes of gentle stretching between Zoom calls can shift stagnant energy. Speak your truth. If you have a trusted colleague or coach, share where you are. Naming grief takes away its sharpest edge. Ayurveda reminds us that every experience, even painful ones, holds wisdom. Grief teaches leaders empathy in a way no leadership seminar can. It teaches us that every person we work with carries unseen stories, invisible losses, private heartbreaks. It invites us to slow down, listen more deeply, and lead with heart rather than habit. When you allow grief to soften you, you become a different kind of leader. Not one who commands from above, but one who connects from within. So if you're sitting in that corner office right now, holding it all together while carrying something heavy, I want you to know you're not alone. Your humanity is not a liability, it's your greatest leadership asset. As you navigate the season, may you remember grief doesn't make you less effective. It makes you more real, more compassionate, more grounded. And that to me is the essence of true leadership. Thank you for joining me today on The Grounded Leader. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear that it's okay to lead while healing. And if you're ready to explore how Ayurveda can help you restore balance and clarity through life's transitions, visit www.shwetavikram.com or connect with me on Instagram at shwetavikram. Until next time, take a deep breath, lead gently, and remember, your presence is your power.